I have always loved to talk. Since I was a little girl, my mother used to always say she never has a loss for words. As I started to grow up into my junior high and high school years, she would say, listen, your mouth is going to write a check, your behind can't cash. But I really knew that I loved to talk, and I wanted to talk when I was 25. I just started to work for a company in a management position, and I was required to go and do onboarding training at an off-site leadership development class. When I got to the class, I was blown away, just excited. The content was great, but what really blew me away was the facilitator, the speaker, the trainer. She was awesome. I just sat there in awe watching her do her thing. And she kept us engaged nonstop. The stories that she told, we laughed. She used different metaphors to make the content really come alive. And I sat there and just stared at her. She probably thought I was crazy, but I was in awe. And I knew then, that's what I want to do. I want to speak. I was bitten by the speaker bug. So I immediately started to research everything that I could get my hands on. I went to the library and I found Dale Carnegie's book, The Art of Public Speaking. And then as I read that book, then I read his another book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Then I read How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. I was engulfed. And one of the things in the book, it said Dale Carnegie did speaker courses. And I was like, that's it. I need to take a speaking course. So I searched in the Dallas-Fort Worth area looking for a speaking course, and I found it. It was $1,000. Well, I was 25 years old. I was divorcing my husband at the time, had been gone for probably 6 to 8 months. I had immediately become a single mother of a 4-year-old daughter. I did not have $1,000, but I had to figure out how to take this course. Well, I hadn't even paid for my divorce. Well, I knew that was going to happen. I needed to figure out how I could make this happen. Well, I started, pinching pennies and robbing Mary to pay Martha. And then income tax time came around. I was like, that's it. I'm going to use this money to pay for this speaker training course. I enrolled in the course, and I knew that was where I was supposed to be. I knew this is what I was supposed to do. At the end of the course, we were graduating from the class. One of the facilitators came to me and she said, Becky, you really have a knack for this. You have a skill for it. But you need to have some technical training. You need to look into this because this should be your next career. And I thought, that was greatness knocking. My greatness was knocking. And I told her I cannot afford to take, to go through. She was wanting me to get certified as a Dale Carnegie speaker. I definitely did not have the money to do that. But she told me that she had a friend who did coaching for speakers. She contacted the friend, and once she contacted the friend, talked to the friend wanted to meet me. I went over to meet the friend. We had a great conversation. We hit it off really well. And she told me her coaching fee was $1,500. Well, I couldn't afford that. And I told her, I really want to do this, but, I have to do it at a later time. And I was going to have to figure out how to come up with it. And she looked at me and she said, Becky, I'm going to do it for you for $500, which I thought was phenomenal. But again, I didn't have $500. And she said, you know what? Pay it as you go, but I want to invest some time in you. Again, my greatness was knocking, and I was ready to answer the call. And so I started coaching with her, and she started teaching me some of the skill of speaking. And after about 4 sessions, she said, Becky, it's time. You need to get out there. You need to get out there and start telling people. You need to start promoting yourself. And I was like, oh, she thinks I can do this. She thinks I'm ready. So I did just that. I went to the library. I started looking and researching. I went and got the yellow pages. Yes, yellow pages. This was 20 years ago. The internet and all that was not around. I went and got the yellow pages, and I mailed out 150 flyers. My business was called Motivation on the Move. I thought that was so catchy. Motivation on the Move. Well, about a month later, I received a response to one of those letters. And it was the Dallas County Commissioner's Office asking me to be their featured speaker, motivational speaker for a political event that they were having. And I opened the letter, read the letter, and I was, oh my God, it's about to happen. And then in the same breath, I said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I immediately got scared, and I started talking to myself. I said things like, Becky, you don't know anything about politics. What if they ask you a political question? You're going to look stupid. I said, what if they ask you, what's your political views? Well, I had no political views. What if you are up there, you're 25 years old, how are you going to motivate these people who are in their 40s and 50s? What are you going to tell them that they haven't already heard? Guess what? I believed everything that I told myself. Everything. And the story was so real to me, I was terrified. I picked up the phone the next day to call the lady who sent me the letter. And I told her, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend and speak at the gala because I have another commitment on the exact same day. Yeah, I lied. But when I hung up that phone that day, I knew I had just hung up on my greatness. I had just hung up on my purpose. And I sat there just saddened. And I thought, if I can't do this one, maybe this is not for me. So I dove head first into corporate America, put everything into working and doing the best that I could do. But it wasn't until 20 years later, a defining moment in my life. I was scheduled on December the 29th, 2011, to have abdominal surgery, normal surgery. Went in for the surgery. I was released on January 1st, 2012. On January the 3rd at 11 p.m., I was rushed back to the emergency room. I had collapsed at home. I couldn't stay coherent. All of the color was leaving my body. When I got to the emergency room, they quickly took me in and started to do all these tests to figure out what's going on. And I heard the nurse look at my husband and say, I'm so glad you brought her in, because had you not brought her in and she just laid down to go to sleep, she wouldn't have awakened. When I opened my eyes on January the 4th, 5 a.m. in the recovery room, I knew that I was here for a purpose. I knew without a shadow of a doubt I am still alive because there is something I am supposed to give. And I knew I had closed the door on my greatness. I knew I had closed the door on my purpose, and it was calling out loud. I sat in that bed and tears just ran down my face because I was alive. And I was alive for a reason. And it was time for me to make that reason come to life. And I made a commitment that day that I was going to step into my greatness, that I was going to live my purpose, and I was going to fulfill my concrete assignment. When I went back to work, I worked for 2 months and I gave my notice. It was time. and I launched my business. I launched my business to be able to serve in what I knew 20 years ago I should have done, but I didn't. Fear paralyzed me. It'll do two things. Fear will paralyze you, and fear will steal from you. Fear is a thief. It stole my dreams. It stole my desires, my aspiration, my purpose. But I stole it back. I took it back. Why am I telling you this story? Well, I know I am not the only person who has let fear paralyze them. I know that there are too many people out there that have a dream, a desire, a passion, but they're scared. They have closed the door to the greatness. You've done it. I want to share my story so that you realize it can be done. You can open the door to your greatness again. Since I've been in this business, I've had a lot of people to ask me, Becky, how did you do it? How did you do it? Well, let me tell you this. It was the first time that my faith outweighed my fear. I could care less about fear at that time because I was alive. My faith was a lot stronger. So I know that a lot of people, I know you out there listening to this, your fear is stronger than your faith. Well, I challenge you today to increase your faith. I didn't know what to do, how to do it. I just took a step and a door opened. I took another step and a door opened. I didn't know what was going to happen. And at that time, I didn't have to know. I just knew I had committed to stepping into my greatness. I had committed to living my purpose. So many people ask, what do you do? How do you do? Well, I have a solution for you. I've created a step-by-step study program that's going to help you start your own business from A to Z. Whatever kind of business you want to start, I've created a program to help as many people as I can live their dreams and to live them successfully. A lot of the things that I put together in this training program were things that I learned along the way, things that I didn't know before I started my business. I wanted to cut your learning curve down. It's time for you to step into your greatness. It's time for you to live bigger. It's time for you to serve a better purpose. Every last one of us have a concrete assignment that we are to fulfill while we are here on this earth. It's time for you to do it. The BOSSpreneur Successful Startup Kit will help you do just that. You can use the kit and launch your business in 90 days, or you can use it and launch it in a year. It's up to you, but no more excuses. I'm giving you a solution. Don't do like I did and wait 20 years to really step into greatness. And the one thing you don't want to do, which is what I thought about as I laid in that recovery room, is that I do not want to die with everything that I'm supposed to give still inside of me. Go to www.beckyadavis.com and get your BOSSpreneur Successful Startup Kit and start living your dreams today.